Yo, what's up, bro? How y'all doing? Yeah, I'm doing all fine. Everything's all cool in the hood, brother. I'm just kidding. I'd say my hair looks very weird with this jacket and I mean with the sweatshirt and my glasses. I think that looks a little bit better. Um, hey everybody. Um, I wanted to do a review of Man of Steel. Now, I probably should have done a review of this movie a long time ago, but I've been trying to comprehend this movie because I thought it was absolutely, incredibly, unbelievably terrible. Yes, I thought it was awful. It was bad. Um, and oh boy, if only if I saw it in 3D because 2D was good enough. Um, okay, I'm a big fan of the first three original Superman movies with Christopher Reeve. I grew up with that Superman. I looked at him as a role model, um, and he was just like a great hero. Like in the first movie, he saves a cat from a tree. So you think that this man's gonna save you? Let's just say you accidentally fall off your house if you're doing something on your roof. Um, he's gonna get you. He's gonna save you, and he's gonna be like, hey, I'm Superman. Like, he's there to be your friendly hero. But no, we don't get that Superman in this one. And you know, I mean, I really respect the original three films, and but now I know it's a different time. Movies are getting darker. Movies are a lot of movies are dark now, and I make all my movies are dark. I love making dark films and having them very intense but it wasn't necessarily that Man of Steel was a dark movie. It was a bad movie. Um, they had the elements there, the dramaticness, but they were trying to, have, they were trying to. I guess the director writer was trying to have. They're supposed to have you identify with Superman, and you can't identify with an alien. You know what I mean? Um, so you got to throw that out of the way. And just kind of do it like how Sam Raimi did with the Spider-Man films. He found a good. I think he found a good balance between the dark elements and the light elements, and and that would really work for the Superman, the new trilogy or whatever they're doing now. They're putting Batman with Superman now, which is awesome. But I guess I'll try to go into detail why I didn't like it. We spend like a half hour on Kryptonian, wherever the planet is. Superman's not my favorite superhero. Sam Fisher's my favorite superhero. And you guys are like, who's Sam Fisher? Well, he's a spy in a Splinter Cell series. There's a new video game coming out August 20th, Splinter Cell Blacklist. And, back in 2010, I started playing the original Splinter Cells, and he was a cool hero because he was like this guy that was saving these people in the shadows and the darkness, and you don't know, nobody knows who he is. He's a secret hero, and I like that scruffy hero. Same with Indiana Jones, and just those heroes that are kind of underground, that are just not real, that are not there in public. And I love Batman. I love the Nolan's trilogy. I thought he did a very great job, and The Dark Knight is one of my favorite movies of all time. Um, and all that stuff, and I can see trying to put a dark tone on the Batman films because it's Batman. That's very easy to do that. Um, but with Superman, it's a different story. It's a different feeling. It's a different tone. And so I guess I'll start with the casting. Henry Cavill, he has the look of Superman. He has the potential. It was just the way he was directed was very poor. Um, and then you got Amy Adams. I thought she was not the right Lois Lane at all. Like she Lois Lane's supposed to have, dark hair, you know, I mean, you grow up with the comics and you watch the cartoons and you watch the classic movies, and I know that I understand they want to put Superman in maybe a dark story, but I felt like they were shoving too many things into one film. It was like I mean, I personally I personally thought it should have just been like, okay, we spend maybe half hour on on his old planet, and then we get to Earth, and his parents in Smallville adopt him or whatever what they did, and the whole movie is just him maybe trying to keep his secret, his power secret, and he goes to the Daily um, Planet or whatever it's called, and tries to be a journalist, tries to fit in with people, and he tries to stay away from these powers as much as possible. But then, he goes to this place, he, sees the hologram of his dad, and it just builds up to him getting the suit, and then, he puts his fist into the mountain, the ground, and it just flies up, and then it goes up to like he flies out of the earth, and then he goes through space, and when he would like look at the camera, and then just kind of go to blackness, and then so the second film would introduce like the villains, and then you can code it and cut the chase to all the action. But this film put too much. It was too many things in it, and I've never seen so much action in a movie that was um, like we couldn't understand what was going on, and spoilers, but I mean, he what Superman was doing throughout, it just didn't make any sense. They didn't really go into detail of why General Zod and Fiora and those the gang, why they couldn't breathe on planet Earth. I mean, I just got so confused with that. And then when he's going through all the buildings, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, why would you do that? I mean, he's killing all these people. Obviously, if he's going through all these buildings, people are getting their heads decapitated, but you don't see them. And then at the very end when he kills General Zod, and it's like he's doesn't want to want him to kill these family, innocent people, and it's like, well, you've already went through like hundred millions of buildings already and crushed many people. I don't know why it'd be a big deal now. And they made Superman look like he was an idiot. And Superman's not supposed to be stupid. He can be an asshole. I mean, he's an asshole, and God, Injustice, God's Among Us. But but to be like dumb, it wasn't Superman. And he didn't have the look. I mean, it was just them trying to it was them trying to do like Dark Batman on Superman. And I didn't think it was a smart concept. I think they should have kept to what Superman is supposed to be. He's supposed to be a hero. He's supposed to know what he's doing. And yeah, there should be some dark elements, but overall, it shouldn't just be all this dark, depressing stuff. Like um, and then it's like I couldn't even when I got to the last act of the action. I got bored. I was bored by the action, and I love action films. I love, a bunch of explosions but as long as it's for a reason, there's reasons why these things are happening. And in Man of Steel, it's like all these things are happening, and you don't understand that they're not going into detail. And then Superman is not. He didn't even really save anybody from Metropolis in the movie. That defeats the whole purpose of his character. And then he flies away to stop this other thing, and it's like they put too much stuff in the whole movie because it starts from when he was a baby on the planet to when he got to Metropolis and all this stuff, and then how did General Zod like transfer over to the TV, like how was he able to go through the I'm trying to still think of it, but like when he's like on the TV sets and he's like you were not alone. Like how did he know how to do that? He's from a different planet. He doesn't know how to do that. And he didn't do that in the original Superman movie. And it's like Lex Luthor had to show where Superman was, for them to even find Superman. So I mean, it was so unrealistic. I think the one thing though that I did like about it, I think, was Fiora, the actress that played her. I thought she did a very good job. She was a good villain. That was good. And then I mean, you got um, you know, Diana Lane, and then you have Kevin Costner, and you got these two good actors, and they're treated so badly. I mean, for the screenplay, and that's terrible because I mean, there was there's a lot of actors that had the potential, and then that one dumb scene. Here we go. One, what his dad, from Smallville, dies in the tornado, and thanks because of all the CGI now, actors don't know what their cue is, and you can see the tornado, slowly coming, and it's like, well, okay, I know you got the dog, whatever, whatever, but come on, you can run back. You don't have to just stand there. I mean, come on, and maybe Superman should have broke his rule, whatever his father told him, and saved him, and then that could have been a good argument, but like the fact that all these things were happening to Superman at every single moment, like the bus, and then the tornado, and all these things. It's like it's really unrealistic, and less is more. You got to have build up, and you got to make sure that you understand who this villain is, and what the what the purposes are. It's like there needs to be a story before an action, a climax. You got to make sure you know what's going on. So then when the action happens, you know who you're rooting for. You don't know who you're rooting for, or you know what's happening. You don't know what's I mean, you know what's happening, and you know all that stuff. Basic filmmaking, and I'm a big fan of Zack Snyder. I mean, I loved 300. I loved Watchmen. I didn't like Sucker Punch, but I loved his 300 and Watchmen, and I thought those were great movies. Um, and so I thought with Man of Steel he was gonna do a very good job. I know he's a very visual director, but I didn't think he was gonna. He was gonna. I don't necessarily think it was his fault. I think it was the screenplay, and what I don't understand is David S. Goyer, his name. That wrote, the Nolan's Batman trilogy. It's like he wrote this. I mean, really? And I was just really surprised. Now, there's also aside from Fiora, the second good thing about this movie was Hans Zimmer's score. Phenomenal. I mean, I got to give credit to that. When you hear the dun 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 dun, like it's like a new theme for Superman, like how he did for Batman, Christopher Nolan's trilogy, and I think it's phenomenal. But it's like for the wrong movie. You know what I mean? I just wish that they could have done a better job. I mean, I was really looking forward to it for a long time. I was very excited to see a new Superman film, and I mean, this movie makes Superman Returns look like a masterpiece. And I didn't care too much for Superman Returns, but now it looks pretty good. After watching Man of Steel, I mean, it's one of the biggest letdowns ever. I mean, all of you have your own opinion. You may have liked it, but a lot of times I felt like I was watching a video game. Like I felt like I was watching video game action scenes. Like they weren't like action scenes you'd see in a movie that were memorable and iconic. And just the simple thing from the original Superman 2 when he does the handshake and then he crushes General Zod's hand, and just those classic moments that were just so smart. And the moment in the first film when he goes back in time to save Lois Lane, and gets her out of the dirt, and because she went down there. I mean, whatever was going on with Lex Luthor, whatever his plans were, and you know, just all those good moments, were not in this movie, and I know that those movies were years ago, decades ago, but you know, a story's got to start somewhere, and for it to just be dark throughout the whole thing. I didn't like it, and they did that with Amazing Spider-Man too. Um, and I didn't like that either because Spider-Man's not supposed to be dark, and I thought that Sam Raimi found a good balance between the dark and the light elements of the superhero story, but I think a lot of people have gotten dark and cynical. Maybe it's because of things that are going on in their lives. I mean, I like to watch dark films, but I don't want to see a dark Superman movie. I want to see a Superman film that's a fun roller coaster, popcorn film, a fun ride that has a great story, great cast. I mean, good characters and good development and good action and good understanding and all those things. So I mean, I really wish they that's what it was. It was just uh, you know I think I've said enough, but you know, um, I didn't really like the movie at all. I thought it was bad, 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 bad. And aside from Fiora and the Hans Zimmer score, I got to give credit to that. So if I had to give it a rating, 0 out of 10, I think I'd give it a 2 out of 10 because of Hans Zimmer score and Fiora. Same things. And it's like it was worse than Catwoman movie, and it's worse than that Batman and Robin movie. I thought. I mean, at least Batman and Robin was just fun to watch, but this Man of Steel just had all these flaws in the story, and there was like no emotion, and Superman he wasn't how he's supposed to be, and then he was doing all this yelling, all this yelling and stuff, and I was just it got crazy, and I didn't like it, and I mean, like I said, everybody's got their own opinion, but I despise this movie a lot. I'm not gonna buy it. It was a major letdown. It's terrible when you go to cinema and you want to have a great experience. You want to see a great movie, and it's awful. That's the worst thing ever. So I don't know, but yep, that was my review of Man of Steel. Maybe I should have done it a long time ago, but I was just trying to, you know, comprehend the whole badness of it. I mean, is it really that bad? Yeah, it is that bad. And and usually it takes a lot for me to just despise a film. Um, but yeah, and the fact that it is Superman, it kind of breaks my heart a little bit because I grew up with those Christopher Reeve movies and those were great, and you know yeah, but I don't know, maybe the Batman Superman movie will make up for it. Maybe the writer and the director learn from those flaws from maybe critics and fans that complained about it, and they're like, okay, well we'll we won't go as extreme, or maybe they will go even more extreme. And people are gonna buy the movie no matter what. They're gonna go see it, and they're gonna go see it millions of times, or hundreds of times, and it's gonna make billions of dollars and millions of dollars. And and they're just gonna be laughing like, ha ha ha. They're watching this movie that has no good story, no, no good you know, uh, you know, uh, whatever, and it happens a lot, when we go to cinema, and a lot of us enjoy bad movies, but you know, um, I think I've gotten better as I've gotten older, as looking at the difference between a good movie and a great movie, and a bad movie and a really really bad movie, and it's Man of Steel was definitely not an A movie, and it definitely was not even a B movie. It was a wasn't even any kind of movie. It wasn't even like a movie to me. It just didn't feel like a real movie, So, all right, well, I'm done talking about it. That's my review of Man of Steel. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you guys later. And the next video I make, I will be talking about my thoughts on the Curse of Chucky. Yep. All right, talk to you guys later. Peace.